Well, welcome back, everyone. To be brutally honest, I have no idea when the last time I filmed a general video for the quote-unquote public. But obviously it's been a pretty long time. I want to say the last time I did a video was probably somewhere when we were around this range. So it's probably been at least a month, if not more. Honestly, it might have been 2 months. But now I feel like I owe it to everyone to at least cover the general possibilities moving forward, and I've been putting this off for a while, so I'm sorry that it's taken me a long time, but I did plan on getting this up over the weekend, but if you guys follow me on Twitter, you know I went on a little spontaneous adventure, if you will. I drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to get a supercharger on my 2015 Scion FRS. I'll put up like little pictures and sound clips here. If you care about that kind of stuff, the irony is, like, before I got like the exposure through Reddit and Twitter for like GME predictions, I used to do like videos of me building my car. There are like a lot of different transitions with this channel, but like it's funny because I kind of just like kept my whole life up on YouTube from like before I am what I am now. So if you ever want to, right, you can like kind of like dig through and see the type of shit that I used to be on when I was like a little kid. But obviously we're grown now, and now we're talking about more serious stuff. So all that aside, today we're going to be covering the few possibilities that I see on GME, and there are like 3 or 4 if I'm being honest, and my fucking broke ass still doesn't even have TradingView Premium. Do you believe that? So what we're gonna be doing is I'm actually just gonna more or less go one by one and describe all of them. So let's just go from the top here. We can keep all these so generally speaking, we'll first start with the most, I don't want to say my favorite, but this would just be the cleanest in that it will likely move with the rest of the market. So what we are looking at here, we're going to label this as scenario 1. This would be considered a leading diagonal in Elliott wave terms, wherein we have 1, a deep 2, 3 breaks above the high of 1, 4 comes back down below the territory of the 1, pretty deep, and then 5 is going to get another push above the recent high. And it'll look something like an ascending wedge, triangle, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Something like this, where like we kind of contract on the way up. But I wouldn't focus too much on this because GME isn't always the cleanest in terms of structure and geometry. But this is one idea that we're working with, and this is obviously the one that you see on the screen here. And so now what we're going to be doing is picking it apart to try and, make sense of it. Where it's proven right, where it's proven wrong, so on and so forth. So first off, in this view, going from the very beginning, and there are a bunch of levels up here. Let's just go. Is this one clean enough? Okay, so we're going to go from the very beginning, right? First off, we're assuming that this is the low, right? Obviously, there are accounts that don't have this as a low, but I'm going to, for the sake of this video, or at least this interpretation, we're going to consider this as a low. And so what we're going to do is measure from the low of this wave. We're counting this as a 1 and this as a 2 because the low here is 1541, the low here is 1543. And this was like the last big part in my videos that I was talking about before I didn't do one for a while, but we just wanted to hold above 1541 on the pullback, and granted we did hold 12 cents above, but this is usually what GME does every single time it's some BS like that. I'm going to try not to curse because I don't know if YouTube's going to strike me or whatever, but for comparison, this was the last most extreme example, wherein this low was 18.88, I guess this is split adjusted, and then this low was 19.44. So again, GME does like to come very, very close to invalidation points without always necessarily breaking them, which is why it can sometimes be a bit of a not so nice word to try and count and keep track of, but nonetheless, we're looking at this as a wave 1 up, a 2 down, and if you would like, I have the smaller subdivision shown on here if it even matters, but look at this as a 1, this is 2. Originally, I was eyeing this as a 3, and then we'd have a 4 come back and hold above 24.88. Obviously, this was literally the day that earnings happened, or the day after, and breaking there right when it happened was not a necessarily bullish sign in the short term, which was an opportunity to sell covered calls and to be brutally honest, my dumbass sold some down here, but then I rolled them up here. And it's funny because now I'm green on the position, even though I did get a little ahead of myself and I sold some puts around here too. Just being transparent because obviously nobody's perfect. I collected premium on the call side here, and then I tried to switch it to puts, but those are kind of fucked right now, but whatever, I can roll those if need be. Anyways, now we're going to go to my chart with a bunch of levels. Not that one, let's go to one slightly less. And long story short, these are all of the general areas that we can potentially see a turn, and we can make it a little bit more what's the word? I don't know if makes sense is the right way to phrase it, but in terms of actually reading the candles and deciding whether or not a certain tick marks a low or not, I wouldn't say we have that quite yet. Wherein it makes sense to see at least 18.72 unless we can reclaim 1922, wherein we would be looking to test the area of 19.94, right? So if we're bullish, right, we might get something like this and then continue to the upside. However, if not, we can fail the zone before continuing lower. But the way I see it now, we don't look to have put in a significant low at the moment. Anyways, going back to this count, this is proven incorrect with a break under 15.41. And based off of what the targets are up here now, I would expect a general low within this box between 1872 to 1671. Mind you, 1671 is drawing this as A, this is B, and then C comes all the way down here. And also, mind you, there is a little hourly gap down here. This closed 1702, low at 1705. So there is technically a minuscule 3-cent gap right here. I'm not sure if the algo will take that into consideration or not, but then if we go out to a daily time frame, as you can see, this level more or less is a perfect overlap with this daily gap as well. I hope it doesn't come down to there and it starts to see a turn in the medium term, because I do believe, call me like a crazy motherfucker, fuck, I cursed, sorry, it's too late now, but I do believe generally that SPY is going to go higher as well, which would be the supporting case for this, right? Okay, that's one possibility, right? And then I can't necessarily give like an exact target I would be targeting for the fifth wave in this count because we need a bottom first, right? But generally speaking, if we do find a bottom in the short term above 1543, I would be targeting a break above 27.8. It seems kind of crazy. I know maybe it won't happen like that. This is just one of the possibilities. Wherein the general structure would look like this, and then the final move up from this low would be like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we would get a humongous ABC along the lines of this after breaking 27.8. That's one idea, which is my favorite. Now we're going to touch on a few others, and I shouldn't do this, but I am going to do it because F it, it's just going to make my life a little bit easier. So now what we're going to make it a little bit different, right? And this would be a bearish idea, wherein this is A, this is B, and this is C. And if this is the case, I really hope it isn't, but we would be looking at something along the likes of maybe one's here, this is 2, and now we're getting 3, 4, and 5. And in this case, we would definitely flush 1543 and 1541. We can draw like a little trend line like this, I guess. Not that it'll be super helpful, but we would ultimately crack below both of these levels down here in this view. And it would likely be targeting somewhere on the 12 range. I don't necessarily like this one as much though. And that slightly lies within my larger term market bias. But nonetheless, this would only be proven correct with a break under 15.43. Now, the general issue I have with this and the bull case is because we're pretty far from invalidations on both fronts, right? Bearish invalidation would be a break above 27.8, and bull invalidation would be a break below 15.53. So, being that we are, at least $4 from either of them, it is hard to have a favorite. But that would be like the most bearish idea. Now, here's one that's might be too bullish. I don't like this one as much. So here's what this would look like. So in this potential count, we have a 1 and a 2, and then our move up on earnings we're actually counting as a wave 1 and then a wave 2 again. When we get a big 3, 4, we get a really, really big 3 of 3. Which will look along the lines of this. But the reason why there isn't necessarily a point in giving this, taking this as the favorite over the original diagonal count, which would look like this, that we covered in the first segment of the video, right? The reason why there isn't necessarily a point to favor this one over this is from an invalidation standpoint, it's going to be the same thing, right? So if it holds above 1553, we can say this is correct or this is correct, right? There isn't necessarily a signal that one is right or the other is, but nonetheless, as you can see, so long as 1553 holds, we are favored to extend higher in the short term. But going back to the primary, that's basically how I would look at it. Now, I guess, finally, a slightly weirder iteration. God, I mean, I think I covered everything, to be honest, right? We covered the idea of diagonal, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We covered the idea of an ABC, where this is ABC into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breaking below both of these previous lows, and we copied, and we went over the idea of a 1, 2, 1, 2. To be brutally honest, I think that's everything. I don't think I've left anything on the table. I mean, I guess really quickly I can go through and like check to see if I missed anything. But to be honest, I like really don't think I did. And I mean, I usually just like post my updates through a video every day, which have been awesome, mind you. In my video yesterday, I was saying, and I've continued to say, that I expected SPY to come down and find a low within this 406 range that it has, as represented by the box, and I've been posting this for a week, and as you can see, right, we did tag it, and it's starting to get picked up around here. Maybe this is a bottom, maybe it isn't, but the point is, this video isn't necessarily focused on SPY. Fuck, I got so sidetracked there, my bad. Where is it? I'm not gonna find it, honestly, but yeah, I think that's really it. So it's, maybe this wasn't like the video you wanted, but the issue is just like, we're far from invalidations on both fronts, and so all we can really do is just have a basis of levels where we can expect to see a turn, as well as general invalidations for both sides. And again, to reiterate, this area from 1872 to 1671 is where I would expect to see a turn if the bullish count is correct. Fuck, I don't mean to open Final Cut, right? And going back to what that count would look like, right? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, we're getting the 4, something like this, and then we're gonna get a 5 up like this. This is still the favorite, but this bias does lie within the general, within what I think the general market is going to do as well. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed and you found this somewhat informative. If you would like to be a part of the Discord, I will, of course, leave a link in the description down below. And if you would like, feel free to shoot me a message or James a message, and we'll give you like a general run through of what you can expect for joining. But yeah, that's really it. You know, I don't want to sit here and like plug the Discord too much. All I really wanted to do was just, I'm doing hand motions, but you can't see, but I just wanted to give you guys like a general update on what I expect to happen in the short to medium term, as well as general pivots to watch for to invalidate the bull case and the bear case. So stay safe out there, everybody. It's definitely been a rough week or so within the markets. There hasn't really been a whole lot of trend until today, but we'll see. I don't know why I keep doing hand motions, but thank you so much for tuning in again. I know it's been a while. I will try my best to start to be a little bit more consistent with these, but yeah, that's all. Take care. Bye-bye.